All right, let's talk about DeFi. You've probably heard this term, decentralized finance, getting thrown around a lot. So today, we're going to slice through all that noise and get right to what it actually is and, why you should even care.
Okay, so let's just start with a thought experiment. What if you could do all your financial stuff? I'm talking trading, lending, borrowing money, but without ever having to go through a bank. No broker, no middleman whatsoever. Sounds pretty wild, right? Well, that crazy idea is pretty much the heart of what DeFi is all about.
So at its simplest, DeFi is just a new system for financial services. But here's the kicker. Instead of being run by banks on their private servers, it's all built on the blockchain. Think of the blockchain as this giant shared public notebook that everyone can see. It's super transparent and really, really secure.
Okay, so you might be thinking, how on earth does that even work? Well, the big idea you need to wrap your head around is this. In DeFi, code, just lines of software, is the new middleman. It's doing the job that banks and big institutions have always done. Let's break down what that really means compared to what we know.
And this right here is really the core difference. With traditional finance, we're always dealing with middlemen, right? Banks, brokers, they're the gatekeepers. They approve things, keep the records, and of course, they take their fees. DeFi just gets rid of that entire layer. It replaces it with open software. The rules are all laid out in code, and everything just happens automatically.
So the magic engine making all of this happen is something called a smart contract. Now don't get thrown by the name. It's not as complicated as it sounds. A smart contract is basically just a computer program that lives on the blockchain. Think of it like a super smart vending machine. You put in the money, meet the conditions, and it automatically gives you your snack, executes the task. There's no person you have to ask, no waiting for business hours. It just works.
All right, so that's all the theory. But what does this actually look like when you use it? Let's get practical and look at two things we all understand, trading and lending. We'll see how DeFi completely changes the game for both. Okay, trading, normally you'd go to a brokerage, right? Well, in DeFi, you use something called a decentralized exchange, or a DEX for short. The big deal here is that you're in control. Instead of giving your money to some company to hold, you trade these digital assets, or tokens, straight from your own crypto wallet. And that whole swap, it's all handled by one of those smart contracts we just mentioned. It's automatic.
Lending is also totally different. I mean, forget about credit scores and waiting for days for a bank to approve you. DeFi lending is all about collateral. Here's how it works. You put some of your crypto into what's called a lending protocol, which is really just a bunch of smart contracts working together. Then you can borrow a different kind of crypto against what you put in. And when you pay it back, bam, your original crypto is unlocked and sent right back to you. It all happens automatically, governed by code that anyone can check.
So you might be asking, why all the hype? Well, it's because this new system has some huge potential upsides, but, and this is important, it also comes with some very, very real risks. You absolutely have to understand both the promise and the peril here.
The promise side of DeFi really comes down to three main things. First, it's open. All you need is an internet connection and a crypto wallet and you're in. Second, it's transparent. The rules, the transactions, most of it is right there on the public blockchain for anyone to look at. And third, and this is super cool, it's programmable. Think of all these DeFi apps as financial Legos. Developers can just click them together to create brand new financial tools, which is way harder to do in the old school, walled-off banking system.
But, and I can't stress this enough, this is the Wild West. It is not risk-free, not even close. Remember those smart contracts? They're written by people, and people make mistakes. Bugs can be found and exploited, platforms get hacked, and real money gets stolen. Plus, crypto prices are notoriously volatile. They can crash in an instant. And maybe the scariest part? There's no safety net. If you mess up and send your money to the wrong place, there's no customer service number to call. It's just gone.
So let's just boil this all down. When you get past all the jargon, what's the one big idea we're really talking about here? Look, if you take away only one thing today, let it be this. DeFi is finance built on the blockchain, where code takes the place of the middlemen. That's it. Code replaces the bankers, the brokers, the institutions.
And all of this leads to one giant question for the future. Could this code really reshape how all of our money works? Look, right now it's still a crazy, exciting, and pretty volatile experiment. But it's a completely new blueprint for a financial system. We don't know if it's going to work out in the long run, but it's a future that's being coded into existence as we speak. Thanks for tuning in.